Today, let us learn how to make farsan. Farsan is nothing but an Indian name given for the word savior. Savior, as the word itself is self-explanatory. You have all the possible tastes in it. You have hot taste, you have sour taste, you have sweet, you have a little pungent taste. You also have a little bit of spicy touch also with that. We usually use these farsans in the evenings during tea times, and the farsan, the reason why we prepare it and why we call it as farsan is we can prepare them and we can save them in an airtight container for about 15 to 30 days, and we can serve them instantly when we have guests immediately, unexpected guests. Today we'll be learning how to make one of such saviors out of poha. So shall we start with the recipe? And before we start, I'll tell you, this is actually an easier recipe but a little lengthier. So what I do is I just divide this whole recipe into 3 different steps. The first step is that I dry roast certain ingredients and I powder them and I keep them aside. And second thing is that there are certain items which I have to deep fry in the oil and then keep them aside. And the third and the final most step is just mixing them up. Alright, so let us check for the ingredients that we need to prepare a savior out of poha. These are all the ingredients that we need to prepare a poha. This is garlic. Garlic, I have not used the hybrid garlic, so I have, since it is not a hybrid one and you form them in a smaller sizes, I have used about 6 to 7 garlic whole pods. And this is peanut, and I have about salted cashew nuts, I have kishmish, and I have almonds which I have just coarsely pounded them, and I have roasted chickpeas, and in another separate bowl I have coriander seeds, cumin seeds, and I also have some carom seeds already put in the fry pan. And this is nothing but your poha, which is paper size. This is the type of the poha that you're supposed to use to prepare this savior. In the other plate, I have cleanly washed curry leaves. I have fresh green chilies which I've washed and dried and I've chopped coarsely. And I have dry coconut which I have sliced them thinly and cut them into tiny pieces. Apart from then, I have oil for deep frying and then salt, a little bit of salt for taste, and I also have amchur powder to give it a little savory taste, and I have some turmeric powder to give it a good color. Okay, so now let us start with the steps. Since I told I would like to divide this whole recipe into 3 different steps, let me start with the first step, where I will start just roasting up few ingredients. Those are nothing but these. I have about 6 to 7 tablespoons of coriander seeds and about 6 to 7 tablespoons of cumin seeds, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of carom seeds, which are nothing but ajwain. I will just dry roast them and powder them finely. Starting with the first step, where I'm just dry roasting the carom seeds first, and then I would go on adding all the other seeds like coriander seeds and cumin seeds. I've added all together coriander, cumin and carom seeds. Now all these will just be dry fried. The reason why we fry them is when we actually powder them in a blender, they do not have to be coarsely powdered. They have to be it has to be a smooth and fine powder. So to find that fine smooth powder texture, I actually have to dry roast them. And again, we have to store these saviors for a longer time. We have to dry roast them so that they don't spoil out. Now that you are able to listen to that, crackling sound, it indicates that all these have been finely fried out. So now I would just remove them out to powder up. You see that the oil is heating up, and now we add all the whole peanuts and deep fry them. Again, see that the oil is not half cooked, and neither the peanut should be half cooked. The peanut has to get that crispy texture. If you keep any of these ingredients half cooked, you will start losing them soon after 7 to 8 days, not even 8 days. Within that, you'll start losing them up. You'll start losing your whole savior, whatever you have prepared. So see that you should get it completely fried. See that you get the crackling sound. The crackling sound indicates that those peanuts are breaking into pieces and they are getting roasted completely. And even you don't have to overcook them. See that they are gently cooked to form a crispy texture, but neither you have to overcook them. The more you overcook them, the more you start losing on the taste. This is the way they have to be cooked. Look at this texture. You also see some of the peanuts have already cracked into pieces. The moment you start sensing that they are getting overcooked, soon please remove out of the oil. These are now finely cooked. So what I do, I just remove them and place them into a separate container. Now add the roasted chickpeas. These would get quickly cooked up. See that you gently cook them. Don't let them overcook. It forms a foamy texture, but see that you don't overcook them. And also it doesn't have to be undercooked. This is how you find them. It gives up a little reddish touch the moment you find them that they are cooked to crisp. So now I will just remove them and place them into another pan. Now need not worry about draining out the oil completely. Why? Because anyways you will again have to add oil and you have to mix it with poha. So need not worry about draining up the complete oil. Now we can add some kishmish. Again, these will get cooked quickly. See that you put the gas to low and remove them. As I told, do not worry about draining up the oil completely from the ingredients. Next thing is that you can add the dry coconut. Now you can put the flame on a little high. Since these are coconut and it takes a little extra warm oil. Even these have to be cooked up to golden red. You find all these coconuts are turning into golden red, so just remove them out of the oil. Now the next step is to add some green chilies. Be careful when you're adding green chilies since they start splattering up. Since these are green chilies, see that these are again cooked up to crispy texture. See that these are nicely cooked. Again, these are green chilies, not the dry red chilies. You can also add dry red chilies in place of green chilies. Since these chilies what I've added are not at all hot in taste, I have added them. and I should see that these are completely cooked, because if I keep them half cooked, again after some time I'll start losing out my poha. If you're not at all a fan of green chilies, then what you can do is you can also add red chili powder a little later, not now, not at this stage. In the last stage you can add the red chili powder to get that hot taste in your poha. I feel that this texture for green chilies are enough, and I'll remove them out of the oil. And the last ingredient is to add the curry leaves. So now after I remove these green chilies, I would add curry leaves. Be careful before you add the curry leaves. See that the gas is put on to low heat, because again it starts splattering up. See that all these green curry leaves are cooked up to form a crispy texture again. Now we see that our green curry leaves have turned into crispier texture, and we will take them out of the oil. Make use of the same oil, but reduce it a little, because we don't have to even keep our poha oily. So what I did is that I'm just using the same oil, and I have reduced the content of the oil a little bit. And let me turn on the heat and put the other ingredient. Now what you have to do is start adding up these pounded garlic. First add the pounded garlic. The more the garlic you add, the more the pungent taste you would get, and you would again start enjoying your savior. We usually in North Karnataka use garlic tamper more for any of our dishes at home, or any of our regular dishes at home, because it gives a very unique taste. Now this is the stage where you can start adding a little bit of turmeric powder. See that the garlics are not overcooked, because this plays the main role in the whole savior. Be careful, these start crackling up. Now add your salted cashews and some almonds, which are coarsely pounded up in the same pounder. This is not mandatory. If you don't like them, you can again discard them. Why? Because I have added, because it gives a good taste, and as a savior I want everything mixed into it. Be careful that you don't add any dry roasted powders into this oil, because the moment you start adding the dry roasted powders into this oil, you would not be able to mix them well with your poha. So what you have to do is take this dry roasted powder, pour them onto your poha, on top of your poha. And add a little bit of amchur powder. Meanwhile, see that you have an eye on the garlic, which is in hot oil. 1 tablespoon of amchur powder should be more than enough to just give it a little. Sorry, this is for about 500 grams of poha, so I'm using nearly 1.5 teaspoon. And see that these don't get overcooked, because you have cashews which cook very quickly, and apart from that, almonds which take a little time, and even garlics take a little time to cook well in the oil. Since now you have added this, and also see that you add salt. These garlics are cooked up completely. Now let me turn off the gas and come back to this thing where you start adding salt. You can use the powdered salt, not the sea salt. rock salt, not the rock salt. All the homemakers can make up approximately what amount of salt is needed. I think this should be more than enough for about half a kg of poha. Now start mixing it. You can use both your hands to mix them properly. See that the powder is coated on each strands of your poha, because when you eat it you should not find it just as a lump in between, and that is the reason why you don't add it in the hot oil. You have to mix them gently. See that again, while mixing you don't break down the pohas into two. Meanwhile also see them, the powder is coated on each leaf of your poha and it does not lays down below. Okay, what you can do is, if not at this stage, mix it to this stage, to this level as much as possible, and then start adding up all the deep fried ingredients, so that again that would help you to coat these powders into each individual leaf of your poha. First start adding all the dry roasted ingredients. Here goes all your dry roasted ingredients. And finally, before you start mixing them properly or completely, you also add the tempers that you prepared out of garlic, almonds and cashew. Be careful, this tamper might be a little hot. You don't have to burn up your fingers. You can use both your hands to mix them gently. This is how the whole poha looks after mixing up all the ingredients together. You can also see that all the powders are completely coated on each and individual leaf of your poha. Every single bite of your poha gives you all the ingredients that you have added. The reason why we add a huge lot of ingredients in deep frying is because each and every bite of poha should give you all the ingredients. Every single bite should give you the touch of the ingredients that you have added. And people who don't really like garlic can discard it, but I prefer you people add garlic, because garlic is the only thing that gives you this good taste or this attractive taste of poha. Without garlic, I usually don't prefer anybody to prepare such farsans. There are people who don't really eat garlic. Since garlic is good for health and it also gives a very good taste, the taste is very much divine enough. I prefer you people add it. And this is how the final poha looks out. After this, just leave it to cool down. Since all your ingredients are a little hot enough, see that you cool it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can pack it into an airtight container and serve whenever you need. Thank you for watching my video.